Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, I'm Brooke.
And we're the stitching duo. So I'm Amy and I've been cross-stitching since I was 9 years old, but only kind of got out of it again because when you're 9, you get over things quite quickly. We're also quite poor and Mum was like, stop stealing from my stash. So kind of made it hard. But then I got back into it and I've been actively stitching for the last 5 years every day. So I run an Instagram account of all of my cross stitches, just following my mental health journey, and that's when I found FlossTube and was like, this looks great. So brought this one into it with me. But you've only been stitching for 5 months?
Not even, I don't think. Probably about 3 months, I think.
She's new.
Yeah,
Very new.
Yeah, so something that I always wanted to do. I remember doing it when I was younger and absolutely loved it. And then when I seen all Amy's work, I thought, no, I might give this a go again.
Brought you into the cult.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm like totally hooked.
It's heaps of fun. Hey, it's really good. So I use it for anxiety and do really random pieces. So I might go from a Mandela to a gothic piece to Buffy the Vampire Slayer piece. But I suppose a little about me. I'm a mum to a 4-year-old, so it means I get to stitch when he goes to bed, which sadly for me is 9 p.m. So I'm often tired stitching, which is not great. I play roller derby. I've been playing roller derby for 7 years, and that's how I met this one when she was a freshie. What was that, 2 years?
2 years ago, yeah.
I remember I rolled past you and took your photo.
Yeah, that was my very first night.
And I had no idea who you were. I still look at that photo, I'm like, is that you?
Yeah.
But I remember it. I was just like, smile.
Yeah, very nervous that night.
But she's doing so well. So she's up to competing too now. But it is the off season, so that means we can cross stitch, which is great. What else about me? Not really too much else, I think. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I crochet a little bit, I cricket a little bit, but she's a lot better at the crafts than me with that stuff. And that's pretty much it. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a mum to 3 girls. The eldest is 24 and just had a son, so I'm also a nan. So he's 4 months old at the moment. And then I have a 18-year-old and a 12-year-old as well, so all girls. So a little bit about my background. So I started a course in cake decorating, and it was just for something to do, a nighttime course. And I really enjoyed that, and that took off. So I've been doing that for about 23 years now. I do have my certificate in nail tech and lashes as well. But something that you didn't know.
Oh, God, don't look at my nails. They're dodgy.
Don't saw mine at the moment as well. But doing cakes and nails, it was 2 things that just did not go well together. So I did choose cakes over it because, again, it is a crafty thing and
You're great at it.
Yeah, I went better at that. And Amy and I met, as she said, 2 years ago when I joined roller derby. Something that I'd always wanted to do but was always too scared to. And then one day I just thought, let's just do it. And honestly, best thing I ever did, and got a great friend out of it as well. During that time, I think it was about 6 months into it, I did break my ankle. That was a pretty bad break. I broke it in 3 places, dislocated it.
It wasn't even like contact derby.
No, it was just at training.
Just skating around.
That's it.
Then she was just on the floor. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. So I think I did push myself a little bit too much that night. So muscles just gave way and bone snapped.
It's terrifying. That was hard to watch as well, being on skates.
Yeah. I wish someone had got a photo or a video.
Oh no.
That I stopped cakes for a little bit when that happened. From there I really focused, like the past 2 years, since that happened, I've really just focused on training. Did a lot with crafts and now with cross stitch. So cross stitch has kind of taken over all crafts at the moment.
Because it's addictive. Although you just had your shoulder done.
Yes, I did have my shoulder done because I crochet as well. I've been doing that since about year 5. And I was worried I wouldn't be able to crochet with my shoulder because I couldn't move it or anything like that. Funny funny enough, I couldn't do it. But I was able to cross stitch. I learned how to do that.
Which is impressive.
One-handed.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so I had frames and stuff leaning on the table for balance and did it one-handed. So that was good.
Good job.
Yeah, so I did a lot in like 6 weeks. That's a lot of cross stitch.
I don't know how you cross stitch with your shoulder. When I fractured my thumb and I'm right-handed, trying to cross stitch was the worst.
Yeah, that would have been hard.
Great for rehab.
Yes,
the pinching.
Yeah,
but it was terrible.
Yeah, well, lucky it was my left arm.
Yeah,
so yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically this is obviously our first FlossTube episode, so thank you for tuning in. We plan to do this, I think, a bit differently to the ones that we've kind of watched. So I'm hoping to make it more of a, obviously we're going to do whips and finishes and talk everything cross stitch, but we're hoping to go on excursions, which will be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if a lot of people on here probably don't watch Mighty Car Mods because it's very different, but if your husbands do, that is, my husband watches it. That is kind of my scope I'm looking at. He films them as they go on their adventure, and I'd love to do something like that for cross stitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly shows. So we have we're actually on the east coast of Australia, so we are south of Sydney, so we have the Sydney Royal Easter Show, which has a big craft thing, so one of us usually gets to that each year to film. I don't know about you, but I love looking at like the county fairs you guys have in America when they put up photos on Facebook. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's good to look at. So we're going to try and do that. We actually have some stuff to show you today from our local country show. It was very small though. It
was small this year. Very small.
And I went in it. I was the only cross stitch that went in it, and so I don't think winning by default kind of counts.
Hey, winning's winning.
I don't know. I'm not going to go in it next year just because the show was it just wasn't fun. But I do have footage from all the needleworks and stuff that went in it. Most of them were machinery, so we'll have a look at that later. But what did you want to start with? Should we start with showing? Maybe we should show our first ever. Well, not ever. I don't have the one from when I was 9. But our first pieces. Did you want to go first?
Yeah. So when I first decided I wanted to give cross stitch a go, I had no idea what I was looking at, what to buy, where to start. So I did originally order. It was a full coverage piece online.
Bang into it.
Little did I know just how much work would be into that. So I did. That is the full coverage one that I have ordered. As you can see, it's still in the bag and not done. I'm hoping to eventually do that one when I work out how to do the back neater and everything, which we'll get into a little bit later as well.
When she showed me that, I'm like, dude, you know how many stitches that is?
Yeah, see, I had no idea. I didn't know what I was buying or looking at. I just thought, oh, that's a pretty picture. Let's do that.
Start small. Get a Kmart Spotlight kit.
Yeah, which I definitely should have done. So from there, I did look at Etsy. And I found a really nice pattern on there. It was for an octopus. Again, didn't quite know what I was looking at. So it is not finished. It's only half done. So that's the progress of it there. When I did show Amy, after I started a bit, she said, oh, there's a lot of confetti in that. Yeah. I'm thinking confetti. I'm thinking, what's confetti got to do with cross stitch? Anyway, and so I did Google that and I thought, so now I know what confetti is, which is lots of colours everywhere. And it did take a very, very long time.
You smashed it. She was a beginner. And look how far she got on that.
Let's not show the back of that. So yeah, and then just before my shoulder, I thought I'm not going to be able to constantly redo threads as much. Being lots of confetti and lots of colours in the one spot, I would be forever doing it, and I wasn't quite sure whether I could do that. So I did actually move on to something else.
Look at it, it's marvellous.
Which was a Mandela, which now I found I have really liked those. So I did actually finish that one. And I have that framed, so that's it there.
You framed this yourself?
Yes, I did. It's a little bit bodgy, but
good job.
I mean, so not bad for like a first finished cross
And then
stitch.
you've got glitter for your Ida as well.
No, that was it. Oh, was that one? It could have been.
Got shimmer through it.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah, I can hold it and you can talk about
it. So I did choose a glitter for it as well because I do like all things sparkly. So yeah, that took couple of weeks to do, but I did really enjoy it.
I'm such a fast stitcher. I'm like, it would take me months to get this done.
So unfortunately I did have a mark on it here, but I heard that, you know, you can wash them in warm water and a light soap or something, I think it was, but I was too scared I was going to ruin it, so I just framed it anyway. No, it's still there.
Oh no.
So if I don't point it out, hopefully nobody will notice.
So if you have tips and tricks for cleaning,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So where did you get this? Is an Etsy pattern?
Yeah, so this is the Etsy one.
Who made this one?
So that is from Happycraft, as we said, on Etsy. She does have quite a few designs on there, a lot of Mandela ones.
Like I'm on a sales channel now.
So have a look at her work, all her patterns and stuff. Yeah, she's got some nice stuff on there.
And was your octopus through someone else?
Yes, it was. That was from Light Unicorn Designs. So I think it's a watercolor, which I think they have a few different ones on there as well. So
we'll link them though.
Yep, absolutely.
So she went big first up.
Yes, little did I know.
I wasn't as ambitious with my first ones. So my first one was a pig on a bookmark when I was like 8 or 9, and I don't know where that's gone. That's gone whoop whoop. But I went to Supernova. So Supernova's like Comic Con for Australia, and I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And there was this girl, and she had a booth there. And her name is FanGirlStitches on Etsy. And so I don't know if you can see, but this is Buffy and Spike. And she has all that kind of stuff. So she's all fan, geeky, my kind of chill stuff. Yep. And so this was in 2018. This was my first one back from being a kid. And I stitched it mainly in the car on the way to my first wedding anniversary.
That would be so tricky doing it in a car.
Oh, and my mum's a really good stitcher. And every time I sent her a photo, she's like, this could be better. Your stitch is wrong here. My mum's really picky. So, yeah, look, I've won a royal show and my mum picked on that before I started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a really good stitcher.
Yeah.
So that was my first one. It's not been framed right. I've just shoved it in a frame and it's sat on my work desk. But yeah, this is the Buffy and Angel alphabet pattern on her page. So if you're into Buffy, that is a good one. But then I was like, I got pregnant. And my mum will tell you, my nesting was cross-stitching. And I hate when people say I started cross-stitching in COVID because I didn't. Yeah. So this one was, this was 2019, so this was April, COVID didn't exist. And then I got pregnant in the September before COVID. So I was cross-stitching beforehand, but everyone just likes to say, no, it's a COVID thing. Thing. I got pregnant and wanted to craft. So I made this for my son's room. So it's the same girl who made this as the Buffy one. So this is like all of her Disney princesses and princes alphabet, and then I kind of just whacked in some quotes. Very dodgy. You can see highlighter there where I tried to mark it up. I was heavily pregnant and heavily off, you like when you're pregnant. I love sometimes.
It. The detail in it is just crazy.
Henry loves it. My son loves it in his room. But this one, I didn't get it completed before I ended up being induced. So I went earlier than what I expected to be. I was 38 weeks, not too early. So the Frozen one I did afterwards, and he was a newborn, and I wasn't thinking. Oh. And so that's why they're so small. So I think that's 18 count, and these are 14 count. Okay. Mum gave me a heap of fabric, and she just didn't. It wasn't labelled. And I was just like, this looks good. Yeah. Sleep deprived, but anyway, it doesn't matter because it lives in his room. So that's
really good.
Yeah, that's my first one. It's not as ambitious as Brooke's. A little bit more manageable.
Definitely where I should have started.
I love doing things like this too. I'm really into stitch people.
Yeah, I've never tried it. I have seen some of yours and like the ones that you've got in your hallway, and they look really great, like your family ones and that.
Oh, I have to bring that one day. I did a TikTok video on that, and it's had 25,000 views. Which is my best TikTok, which isn't much for TikTok, but for me it's a lot.
That's great.
But we'll talk about that another day because that's a weird story. But what else have you got? What are you working on now? Let's go to our whips.
At the moment, so from the turtle, I decided to do some frogs, which was another pattern which I got off Etsy, author Embroide Designs, which I think it took me about 3 days to do this one, which isn't too bad.
Look at them.
So yeah, I really like this one, but I do really like frogs too.
very
So
cute.
what I did notice when I did do this, my plan was to have all three in a straight line. So when I did look at the center for these two, it wasn't, I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 rows off, which you can't really notice. With this one, the center was further down. So what I probably should have done is lined up the belly of this frog with the center of the belly of the other ones. So it is slightly higher, but again, you probably wouldn't notice too much unless, you know.
I didn't, when you sent me the picture, I didn't notice till just then.
Yeah.
Now I can see it.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's just, they're chilling on the ground and he's climbing up a stick.
Yeah, so I do really like that one.
It's beautiful.
So yeah.
Is that your first time on black as well?
That is my first time on black. So with that one, I did try to do, I think that's a 14 count. I did have it might have been 16 count in there, and I tried to do it on black, and I think I maybe got through like 5 stitches, and I was like, nope, I am not doing this.
Did you use your lap pad light?
No, well, I didn't realise that until I was halfway through on the 14 count ones, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get that out and try it, and I did, and oh my gosh. It made such a difference. I could actually see.
Yeah. I was always against the light. I'm like, no, I can do this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The light is needed.
Yeah. And then from there, I'm actually working on a little whale at the moment, which is half done.
That's so cute.
This is actually done on 18 count.
Oh, wow, yep.
So yeah, which I do really like it. I find that it's much tighter in the work. A little bit harder to stitch, I think, especially when you're trying to fill in all those little gaps.
And it's your first time on it.
Yes. Yeah.
You're doing well.
Yeah.
She's doing well.
And that one is Awesome Pattern Designs, also again on Etsy. So if you wanted to look it up.
I love
another
Awesome
Mandela.
They're my favourite designer, Awesome Pattern Design. So this one this is one of my latest finishes. This is Awesome Pattern Design. And I'd actually use DMC Ida. My nan likes to buy me crafty things as magazines for my birthday. And so it's like Morning Dew, I think. It's a greenie. That's why it's so pretty with the purple.
It is nice. Yeah.
I'm really in an Australiana phase at the moment.
Yep.
So I have a lot of Australian patterns and crochet stuff I've been doing. But that's Awesome Pattern Designs and I love it.
Yeah.
I hate Mandelas sometimes though.
Oh, do you?
I love them. I'm going along and I hyper focus and then I'm like, oh, I'm sick of changing colours. Oh. And then I'll go to a full black.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my favourite too, actually, this koala.
Yeah.
Except I've got no room for it on my wall.
Oh,
so
make
it's
a new
all
wall.
the way up the top. Oh. And I'm like, no one can see it up there. What am I working on? Let's go back to my lovely nan. It's my birthday coming up this week, but my nan bought this for my birthday and gave it to me early. And it's my cross stitch dolls.
How cute is it?
And it's by Susan Bates, and she's awesome. She responds to me on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking for dolls, this is a great book. Like, and even in the back, they've got extra bits so you can customize your dolls. So like different clothes you can add.
That's
so it's
really
kind of
cute.
like, make your own.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, like those little paper dolls you used to get when you were a kid and you pop it out the book and put them all together.
On the fridge.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. And it's just like, they're just beautiful. So if you haven't seen it, have a look. It's actually on Etsy as well. So you don't have to be like me and struggling to read it. So silly me bought a black and white printer thinking, that's great, it'll last longer. And then I scanned in the pattern and I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So I then took a photo on my phone of the pattern of this doll that I'm stitching and I still couldn't do it. So I've been eyeballing the pattern and it's been really I'm trying to think.
Testing.
And it's also my first time on even weave. So it's 28 count.
Ah, okay.
This is my doll.
Yeah, so Amy told me she was doing even weave, had no idea what it was, and I hadn't had a chance to look it up, so this is the first time I've actually seen even weave.
It's nice. My my godmother
it's nice
loves even weave, so my mum and her used to stitch every weekend. We'd go there and they'd have a bitch and stitch and drink and have a great time. And she's like,
sounds like fun. We need to do that.
We should do that. She's like, even weave's the best. I'm like, is it? But I do like it. It is really nice to stitch on. And I can see why so I did 2/2, so I can see why that's easier for the quarter stitches and stuff compared to Ida. So this doll was not meant to be alternative looking. She was meant to be a pink ballerina with blonde hair. So I just need to do the back of her and then you sew it all together, which is what I'm nervous about. Sewing her together and stuffing her. I think that's where I'm probably going to stuff it. But she's my current kind of whip, but I'm stopping her for a minute because I'm getting into Christmas.
Yeah, I love how you have like so many different projects happening all at once.
Not as many as some people I've seen on like Instagram. Like I used to be a bit like you. I have to finish one before I start another, and now I'm like, I want to work on what I want to work on.
I feel like if I start a new one while I still have one going, I'm not going to finish that previous one.
I mean, but I've also got so many patterns. I think I have more patterns than I have years to live sometimes.
Keep you busy.
So I'm like, I might as well enjoy a bit of all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just go off your mood, dude.
Yeah.
So this is really funny. I got this banner from Kmart.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Kmart
a great idea.
Has really dodgy fabric. I've never stitched on anything so rough.
Yeah. So is that a Kmart one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of like the ones on Shein.
Oh,
Shein
okay.
are very similar. Yeah.
Except I've never had fabric rip apart my thread.
Oh.
And I don't always stitch with DMC because I'm poor. So, but like even my DMC has been like just shedding.
Yeah, okay.
And I've never had that because it's just so, I think it's just so rough. So Kmart had these banners on sale for $3 as a kit, and I was like, I can't pass that up. So I
love that banner. It looks great.
It's so much fun. Some people have been pulling them off and dyeing it. In the Aussie community. So I'm doing Christmas banner. So this is just for me, for my house. So I have to get it done by the 1st. So I'm in a bit of a crunch now. Yeah. This is Durene Jones's Christmas dinosaur. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I used these for cards 2 years ago. So we've got the T-Rexes. It's really cute. I think there's a Stegosaurus will go down here. Yep. And then I'm going to use World of Cross Stitch magazine to do like a Merry Christmas motif.
Yep. So that look really cute.
That's that one. I have kind of fallen out of love with it though.
So I do have a question with all your wording. So if you were to pick out, say, Amy or Henry, so how would you get that centre?
How to get it centre with the wording?
Yeah. How would you get the centre wording?
Oh, well, like so if you see I've got little blue dots, I've been measuring and using my fabric marker to kind of find it.
Yeah, okay.
So I would measure it up. When I do my stitch people and I'm doing it, I count the letters in whatever word I'm doing. Yeah. Find the middle, and then find the middle, and I start in the middle and stitch outward.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Awesome. But yeah,
I've had so many questions for Amy since I've started.
I can't answer them all because I'm like, I don't know. I'm like a winger. You're very strict, and I'm like, it will do. Yeah. And if I stuff up a pattern, I don't frog. Well, sometimes I frog, but generally I go, it will do. Yeah. And I'll just make it work, which is kind of like this one. This was my Halloween one.
I absolutely love this.
I love skulls.
How cute is it?
I have a thing for skeletons in love. It's a tarot card, the Lovers.
Yeah.
So it's, I just need to check the name. We have more written down. Raven Stitchcraft. So that's one of my favorites as well.
Is that on 14 count?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. That's really soft, like to compare to the Kmart. Yeah.
And this one's from Victoria House in Mittagong that we're going to go visit.
Yeah,
and
super excited.
That shop has the best thread wall. Actually, it's a thread room.
Okay.
Of an old house which goes from wall to wall. It's amazing. Yeah. So we will go up there. Yep. But yeah, this is my favourite, except I kept freaking. I haven't left much. So I still have stuff to stitch. But it will just do because it's just for me.
Another error that I had in my Octopus.
It's hard sometimes. Like I mismeasured the fabric, which is a bit similar to another one I've got. But that's my current whips I'm working on now. I have more in a bag.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At home.
I don't know how you have so many going.
Well, I'm about to start Christmas, so for Christmas I'm doing stitch people for a lot of people in my family. Yep. And I love stitch people because you can design it. Feel like I'm designing, which is great. So I think actually our next episode we might go through stitch people because
that'd be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very Etsy heavy, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah. So when I first started, I had no idea where to get patterns. Then Amy did suggest Etsy, and honestly, I've spent so much money on there.
Me too. It's just too much. But it's nice because they're not like. So when my mum was stitching, she had to go to a craft store.
Yes.
She was very limited. And when I send her these days, she's like, wow, I wish that was around when I stitched.
Yeah. I find it easier too because you have all your PDFs online, which means that you can enlarge them. I know that Amy does use programs.
Yeah, Pattern Keeper.
Yeah.
Is my love. But you mark them off on an old school paper, don't you?
No, I don't even mark it. So when I first started the Octopus, I was following a paper.
Yep.
And I drew like the markings of like, the square and stuff that you're doing. But then when I did discover the patterns and stuff on Etsy, once I had those on the PDF, all I did was enlarge them, and then I just follow.
Oh, you're eyeballing it as well.
Eyeballing it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever actually marked off what I've done. I think there was a few pieces. I'm doing a piece at the moment, which I can't actually show because it's for a gift. So yeah. But there was a lot of light colours in the one area. And that made it very, very tricky to work out what you've done and what you haven't done.
My doll was like that. It was so many, and I would jump around. It was hard.
Yeah. It was really hard to keep track.
Oh, you did well. We need to get you onto. I think, Brooke, you have an iPhone.
Yes.
So iPhone. I'm Android. So iPhone users, please tell us what you use. I think it's markup or something, but I'm not across that. Or just go buy an Android tablet. Pattern Keeper is worth the money. Seriously, is worth
so if you do have
$12.
any programs out there for an Apple, so send them through. Would be great. Alright, so one of the problems that I have found so far with my cross stitch is trying to keep the backs neat. So I find that a lot of the time there's lots of knots and loops, which I don't realise that I'm doing. You'll be stitching away and think, like it hasn't pulled or anything yet, and then you flip it over and there's a whole bunch there. So if you have any ideas of how to prevent this, pop it in the comments below. I would love to know. Be very grateful. So I did YouTube a few little things of letting your thread drop and untwirl, which has helped a little bit, but it's still happening. So
the twirling thing's a good thing. But if you guys know any videos, because my mum taught me, so I show Brooke, but sometimes it's easier if someone else explains it in a different way, and I've not really crossed many of the cross stitch tutorials out at the moment. But so one of the things that people probably say is about railroading. So when you get the needle and you pop it through the two bits of thread before you put them through the hole, so it cuts them in half and goes through. That helps keep the thread kind of straight and untwisted. Okay. And then I
definitely give that a go.
Do my own tension with my fingers by feeling on the front and the back, which I know people hate because you put oil all over your cross stitch and stuff like that, and people are gonna be like, oh, it's unconventional, but that's just me. I call myself a cross stitch rebel because I don't do things conventionally, but it must come out okay because people seem to like them. But so I kind of feel as I go, but that's just how I do my own tension. I mean, you should see me crochet. It looks silly. I can't even hold a pencil properly. I'm a bit funny. Okay. We'll definitely give that a go. See if that helps. But look, like, you have been stitching for 3 months. I've had a lot of people watching this. Maybe you might have only been stitching for 3 months. Might be thinking, she's brilliant. I mean, again, I just love this. You need to finish this. This is my favorite.
Eventually I will.
And I'm looking at the back, and look, it's a bit messy, but you're not going to see that. But I don't see any knots. It's just a lot of, maybe one, but it's just a lot of traveling, which I would travel with this too, unless you're going into shows. I say travel away. And then shows. I think on that I started to do not so much traveling. But I think as I got like further and further into it, there was just, stop, start. And by, the end I thought, no, I'm just going to jump. There's the cross stitch groups. What I love is people that share their messy back, and they're like, look at this, and it's like a badge of honor. And then you get the ones that are neat as a pin, and it's a badge of honor. And I think you just choose. So I do put stuff in shows, but I am getting tired of the strictness of it, because it takes a lot of thought to keep it, all vertical, no knots, and sometimes I just want to stitch for the love of it. It takes the love out of it a bit. So
well, I think that was another thing I eventually should probably start to focus on too, is like the direction of all my stitches. Well, like every stitch is like in the same direction, like I do it the same, but like I don't know, how would you explain that? you know, like you go from one side and then you might jump over here and...
Oh, kind of keep it all vertical on the back without...
Yes. Yeah. So like if you're going from...
Yeah.
You know,
From
the bottom
here to
corner
here.
to the top corner, and then the next one you try to do the same,
Yeah.
but then you'll get to some parts where you'll have to go opposite corner, and
So there's
I don't know whether I explain that. I'm not very good at explaining things.
Depends
like
how far you're traveling. There's a few ways. I
Yep.
actually just tie most of mine off and then start again. That's why I
Yep.
find it so tiring.
Yep.
Although if you're not traveling much, I have put it under stitches.
that.
So you
Okay.
can put it under like 2 stitches. I think there's a
Yep.
technical name for that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
So, because you can stitch over
Yeah.
pins as well.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and I've done that, and I put that in shows, and they didn't tell me it was terrible, so I'm
Okay.
still going with that.
Yeah.
But again, you know, everyone watching Australian standards might be different
Yep.
to other countries,
Okay.
so I'm sure people have tips and tricks.
Yep.
But hey, we want to show you what we saw at our country show, which
Yeah.
is really like American country shows are amazing. And if you're from America and you're watching this, you're gonna be like, "That's a terrible show."
Yes.
It was a
Yeah.
bit terrible. So I've got a video, and we're gonna watch it with you guys. And it's not very long because there wasn't very much. So I did slow it down a bit because I walked too fast. So we'll just pause this here. So this is the winning needle exhibit. It was the most outstanding needlework.
Yep.
And this might be a bit controversial, but I kind of don't feel like machine embroidery can be judged against hand embroidery.
Yeah, I agree. Totally
I think
agree.
it's
Yeah.
kind of different.
Yeah. I think there's art behind both of them, but
Yeah.
yeah, it should not be judged together.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't think it worked. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like they won. It was an amazing pillow,
Yeah.
as we can all see, and that is awesome work. Then that koala is my one, but again, there's
Yeah.
no other cross stitch, so it's just kind of. The funny thing is, of entering this show is they make you pin that onto a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, I
And-
remember Amy messaged me, and you know she was struggling to pin it and getting frustrated, and
I also had concussion when I was doing it, which I didn't know. So now I know why it was so difficult for my brain to compute. But they didn't move my pins at all, so they also didn't check the back.
Yeah,
So-
was been meaning to ask you about that.
I feel they didn't move them last year either. I think they just
Okay.
went one entry. That looks all right on the front, and
Yeah.
but you don't win anything. So because no entries were put in, I just get a little certificate. So there was
Yeah.
no monetary.
Yeah,
But that
see,
was,
I'd be happy with that.
I was, yeah. I'm happy with that. This was the rest. The rest was like all machine embroidery.
Yeah,
Brooke's daughter won. Didn't she
First
win
prize.
like first and most outstanding?
yeah. Actually, went into 2 categories. One was pottery, which is the one that she did first prize and most
was so
outstanding.
cool.
And she also did a oil pastel drawing as well,
right,
and
yeah.
also got first prize in that. So yeah, we were super proud of her.
It's a talented family.
Yeah.
It was great. We'll get a photo and we'll put that.
Yeah,
'cause it's-
absolutely.
Even though it's
Yeah,
not
we'll put
cross
that in.
stitch, it is just awesome craft.
Yeah, she
and
did really well.
Celebrate. But I think this is coming to the end of
Yeah.
our first FlossTube.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Please, what do they say? Like
and
subscribe, and
comment.
comment.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram if you want to see some behind the scenes and us.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Amy's
me
got some
posting
great work
stuff.
on Instagram.
And full of thoughts of anxiety. But I have a present for Brooke. So
Oh.
I don't know if you can see this. So my
I love
husband
presents.
3D prints, and this is a cross stitch accessory. And so I actually do have a video on my Instagram. So if you want to know what it is, head to my Instagram and you'll be able to find out. But we're not going to show you until next episode.
All right, excellent. Thank
See
you. Thanks, Joe.
But yeah, so come back,
Yep.
see what it is.
Yes. This will come in handy at the moment.
It is awesome. My 4-year-old loves to use it. So I bet you're all thinking, what does a 4-year-old use a cross stitch accessory for?
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you very much.
And we hope to see you again. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye.